Coming to you live from our studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the A1 Trading Daily Show. Whether markets are rising or falling, we're here to keep you up to date with the latest market news. Join us as we trade currencies, commodities, and indices live, Monday through Friday.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream here, back in the markets for a big one today. It is Friday. It's the end of the week, but we're ending with a bang as we've got NFP numbers coming out here this morning. We've got unemployment rate, non-farm employment change, and average hourly earnings month over month coming out here this morning. So I do want to just say, as we get started here, comment in the chat, guys. Where are you tuning in from? I see some people all over the place. We see hello from the UK. We see all exited out of South Africa. Good to see everybody in the chat. It's a lively chat this morning. It seems like you guys are ready for this event, which I am as well. I'm very, very keen on watching these numbers here today to see what NFP numbers end up looking like. Context, guys, we are expecting 193,000 jobs created or employed, changed, compared to the previous, which came out at 253,000. So essentially, we're expecting a contraction in the jobs market. This makes a lot of sense. Why is this what forecasts are? Well, again, it's because the Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates to try and combat inflation. They need the jobs market to crack a little bit. One thing you guys should know is that high levels of employment, lots of jobs, if jobs are good, generally what we see is we see inflation correlated to that to some degree. So a high growth in jobs means more people are getting raises, more people are getting jobs. And what are they doing with that money? They're going and they're buying cars and houses and shopping and going on trips. And that is, of course, those are good things. We want people to have jobs and get raises, but too much of it can actually be bad for everyone because it can cause massive amounts of inflation, which means you pay more at the pumps, more at the grocery store, and can be crippling. Can actually cause what is referred to as kind of a melt up in an economy. So anyways, we're watching for jobs numbers today. We're expecting things to cool a little bit here. Unemployment rate is expected to come out at 3.5%, and we're expecting 193,000 jobs created. Okay, so that's what we're watching out for here today. Let's go take a look at the charts as we get ready for this event. Things will be happening here in about 12 minutes. We've got some time to take a look at some charts before this. And let me make sure I see where some of you guys are commenting right now. Coming in from USA, but from South Africa. Very cool. Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Pakistan. Let's see where you guys, we got lots of people. Gainesville, South Carolina, USA. Good to see you guys tuning in. Yes. So from the Caribbean, awesome. India, Michigan, Portugal, Puerto Rico, UK, awesome. All right. So let's take a look. Let's jump into some charts. First of all, the dollar. The dollar has lost. It's actually finally seen a retreat off the highs. This level of support, guys, if you're watching the dollar with me here this morning, what you'll notice is that the dollar here is it is basically breaking a level of support that it has not been able to break. So if you notice here, we had support here, support here, support here. Price came back and tested this area again, failed out, and actually broke to the downside. The question here today on NFP is this going to persist forward, or is this going to kind of reverse and go back up? In my personal opinion, I am actually pretty bearish on the dollar. I think that the Fed is likely to, at least this is kind of the forecast, this is where things seem to be heading. The Fed is likely to be pausing in the month of June, which I think takes away some of the steam of the dollar to the upside. And this is what I've been calling for recently. I've been very much not a participant in this dollar bull train, and actually now starting to see some signs of weakness on the dollar here. If price does retrace and we see rejection, the dollar could actually have some excellent opportunities to the downside, in my personal opinion. Let's go have a look. I know one chart off the top of my head that's going to be interesting for a lot of you guys is this euro trade that we talked about yesterday. Look at what we've got going on right now. If you take a close look at this, we have resistance, which has now actually been broken with this candle right here. This candle tells us a story, guys. We've got key resistance here around 1.074. This candle said, nope, we're going to break higher. And sure enough, it traded a little bit higher. And now today, giving back some of those gains prior to NFP. I would say watch very closely this reaction today, because the euro could actually be due for a bit of a bounce play off of this retest. Now, again, let's drop down to the 1 hour chart here and take a closer look at this zone. And what you'll notice is that, again, we broke out. Look at the clean price action, right? Price trading in one direction, very strong. Traded a little slower, kept crawling up over the Asian session. London session giving back a little bit. Now coming into the New York session, the question will be, as we trade into NFP, we see some potential profit taking happening here. Will the next round of buyers be able to drive euro higher? That's the question, I think, if you're watching the euro dollar, is watch this zone very closely today. This zone that I have in red or pink is 1.074 to 1.075. We're trading above it right now. And again, you've got this longer term downward trend, which I think is being challenged right now and could actually form into a potentially new trend. But again, NFP numbers will give us some confirmation as to what the market is looking for. What I love about NFP personally, guys, is that a lot of times if you get a pretty shocking number, it can create some excellent new trends to take advantage of. That's exactly what we're going to be trying to do here in this this video. I want to go through a couple things that I'm personally looking to trade. So for example, one thing that I'm watching is the indices. The indices have been red hot, and one specifically that I traded recently was the NASDAQ. I traded it all the way from here up to here, and I trailed out, unfortunately, my trailing stop got hit right around here, and it did leave me behind. But again, I caught most of the moves, so I'm not really worried about it. And FOMO is a dangerous thing, so I'm not messing around with that. What I am looking, however, for is a possible retest on the NAS. So for example, if I'm looking at NASDAQ and we have this area here and we trade above it here today and we see some sort of a pullback, it's a momentum trade for me, but perhaps a tight stop on this could be something I'm interested in. That's on the radar for me. I know a lot of you guys want to talk gold. We'll take gold. We'll take a look at gold in just a moment here. Let's pull it up here and see what's going on with gold. So gold, in reference to what we just said about the dollar, right? The dollar cracking is a big story. Today is huge for gold. Today is a really pivotal moment for gold, guys. In fact, it's so pivotal that this is top of my watch list right now. Top of my watch list. Why? Because this is a resistance point that I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't have a ton of faith in that it's going to break higher. It does actually look sell heavy in this area. But what do I know? I don't know the news before it happens. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm a trader. So what do I do with this information? Well, I'm overall fundamentally pretty bullish on the gold market. I think we have room to see that dollar continue to weaken, especially if monetary policy starts to reflect that, right? They start saying we're going to pause, and then perhaps things start to cool in the economy. And then maybe even rate cuts are forecasted for next year. If that sort of story continues to align, here's what I am very interested in. Let's start at the daily chart real quick. Gold, pointed out by our good friend Frank, who is a regular contributor on the live stream. He pointed out that we have this long-term uptrend that is in play right now. We've just tagged this long-term trend line. We are now on the lower time frames. When we go back to the 4-hour chart, guys, we're sitting at resistance, right? Pretty clean, straightforward price action. We're hitting resistance, but longer term, we've hit a key trend line to the upside. Straightforward stuff. But I think that if we get a break here today, it could be the continuation of that longer term uptrend in its early form. So if we get a breakout today on, for example, cooler than expected jobs created, or perhaps even just, unemployment rate ticks up a little bit, we see the economy slowing, Gold, I think, is #1 candidate for me as a possible trade long. Again, I'm waiting for this breakout. This is where I'm really interested in watching gold myself. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with that idea? Now, I'm not looking to short gold. I'm not looking to sell gold. I am looking for a breakout and retest on gold here going into today. Do you guys like that idea? Do you disagree? Do you agree? Feel free to disagree with me. This is not, this is obviously an open forum for us to just go through stuff. I want to also cover gold here for a second. We've got something interesting here on the gold side of things, and that is who is buying gold right now, right? Who we have to ask ourselves this. And what we always talk about on these live streams and channel is institutional money. Now, a lot of you guys have heard of things like, price action patterns to try and detect what big money is doing, Wyckoff springs, smart money concepts, things like this. And while I think, some of those things can be great, I think it's very difficult to try and actually determine what big money is doing through a candlestick, because candlesticks can be sometimes confusing, deceiving, or just noise. What is not confusing to me is the COT report. When we talk about the smart money tracker that we have on the EDGEFINDER, we are tracking what big money is doing, not through guesswork and price action, illusion, whether or not it's real or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The point though is gold right now has a long preference from institutional traders, and it's not speculation. It's just fact. We're looking at what positions are being held by institutional traders according to the CFTC. We pull that data in, we visualize it on this software so that we can take a look at it together. And so what we've got here right now is a heavy preference to the long side on the gold market from specifically non-commercials, which are your professional speculators, hedge funds, banks, institutional money managers. They're long gold right now. And so when we know that they're long gold, that gives me extra confidence to also be looking for gold longs myself. Now, on top of that, I want to show you guys something. If you're watching gold, check this out. Gold, let's go here. We'll get rid of the symbol here. Let's go gold for a second. I'm going to go just commodities. Look at this, guys. Gold, retail traders are selling gold at a high rate. 62% of retail traders. We have now looked at the other side of the coin. Retail money is shorting gold. Big money is longing gold. Is that a guarantee that we're going to move up on NFP? Absolutely not. The short-term price action can be all over the place. But overall, retail traders are short, institutional traders are long. Take that for what it is. If you guys, we've got just a couple minutes here before the event. I want to just let you guys know that right now we are doing our summer sale event for the EDGEFINDER. If you've been watching the show for a while, do not miss this opportunity. I'm going to show you something on the screen really quick. If you guys have not already joined in on the summer sale, here is some information about it. On our message center right now, if you message in, you'll get access to the summer sale. Check this out. This is what the sale is looking like. So get access to the EDGEFINDER and all of our MetaTrader robots and indicators for free with your purchase at the EDGEFINDER. You're going to save, if you're one of the people that does this, this is a first come, first serve basis. First people that get involved with this sale are going to get the $840+ savings off of our one-time purchase of the tool. This is a limited offer for a limited number of people. Message us right now if you have not already. We've got a link in the chat. Just click this link here and message us if you want to be one of the people that get access to the super sale that we're doing for our summer announcement sale. Guys, we've got 1 minute to go. Let me set up my charts. And again, message in on the link that we just shared. If you have any interest in getting the EDGEFINDER, this is the best price you're going to get all summer. Do not hesitate, because it is on a first come, first serve basis. I'm pulling up gold here in the top left. I'm going to pull up dollar in the top right. Let's put the NASDAQ. I mentioned I'm watching NAS in the bottom left. We're going to put NASDAQ here. And with our final slot, let's keep an eye on that euro, because we talked a little bit about the euro here. Again, jobs numbers coming out in just 20 seconds to go now. We're going to watch the numbers and don't go anywhere, because again, things get interesting after the news. That's where I predominantly do my trading, is after the actual event. We'll be looking for tangible trade setup. So here we go. All right, and breaking news, here it comes, guys. Let's see if we get any significant moves today for NFP. All right, dollar up, euro trading down. Look at that, coming right back into our zone that we drew. NASDAQ retracements seem like they're coming in hot now. Gold also 1974. 1975 printing. Gold rejecting off of this resistance point, and wow, look at this volatility, guys, here this morning. Gold did shoot down. It's an interesting way this candle just keeps bouncing, though. Look at how this thing has just shot down, bounce, shut down, bounce. It keeps bouncing intra-candle, and now looking like it's even reversing a lot of those gains. Look at that. The dollar popped and now gave back all of those gains. What a nasty candle that was, guys. Rest in peace to people who are buy stop, sell stopping the news. That is, of course, we always talk about a very dangerous strategy to do. If you were buy stops and sell stops on this one, this was an ugly, ugly candle to do that on, as price immediately jumped back up. Let's go take a look at the numbers here and see if we have those in. We do, in fact, have 339,000 jobs created as opposed to the 193,000 jobs expected. However, what's causing that nasty reversal on the candle? It's this guy right here. The unemployment rate ticked up to 3.7% overall, higher than forecast at 3.5%. This is a jump of 0.3% in unemployment rate. So yes, some more jobs were created in the short term, but unemployment overall ticked up to 3.7%, marking a new high as of recently on the jobs market. This is an interesting perspective, because we are seeing two sides of the coin. Jobs created ticked up, but so did filing for unemployment, right? So very, very interesting to see that coming in today. So again, partially why we're seeing kind of a nasty candle. Usually when you get something that's just confirming in both ways, like for example, if both of these numbers, were green or better than expected, right? It would be kind of a one directional candle. Or if they're both red, that could be a one directional candle, right? So that is what we talk about when we see conflicting data coming in. It's like kind of like, here and there. Of course, guys, we've got him in the building. We're going to bring in Ivan in just a moment. But before that, we're going to run a quick commercial break to thank our sponsors for making this stream possible. And then we'll come back to Ivan. Don't go anywhere. This is where the trading gets started, where I think there's some great opportunities in the market. Check this out.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans, if you're interested in getting free access to the EDGEFINDER or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, and we are now back with the one and only. Hey, Ivan, how are you?
I'm alive.
You're still alive. I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been at?
My foot is injured. I can't sit in a chair. I have to have my foot high because it's fractured because I walked.
Oh, that is no fun. How did that happen?
I just walked, took a turn to the left, and flipped my foot like that, and off it went. I don't know the whole foot, but fracture on the foot. Ankle is okay.
That is awful. Those hurt so bad. I'm way too familiar. I've sprained my ankle like several times. It is the worst pain. I hate it so much. So, and then I've walked on it too. So I know that pain is very real. So good to have you back though, and for a good time, of course, with this NFP day. What's your reaction to all these numbers, Ivan? What are you paying attention to today?
I am flustered. Is that what I call it? Like I don't know what to do. Like this is just the worst thing that can ever happen. Two conflicting information. Though unemployment rate, I would argue, is more important. But still, we should have seen non-farm payrolls going lower for that to be conclusive. And to be honest with you, it just makes my life even worse.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean, you do have, like we talked about earlier, we have two conflicting points of data. We have employment change ticking up. However, unemployment rate, the percentage of people unemployed, going up to 3.7% as well. Of course, unemployment being bad, employment being good in terms of if you're talking job strength, job market strength. But again, of course, that according to the Fed's kind of goal of getting inflation under control, stronger unemployment, data or employment data overall is, of course, going to be strong for the dollar as they may need to raise rates further. But we've seen some jumps back and forth, Ivan. It's an interesting time right now in terms of market forecasts with that upcoming meeting in June 14th, where we have the decision as to whether or not the Fed wants to raise again or pause. Things have swung back and forth several times recently between the two: pause, rate hike, pause. They've gone back and forth. Right now, they seem to be leaning towards a pause. But I wonder how these new numbers here today shift the focus on that, if at all. Have you looked at the CME tool at all? Fed Watch tool?
Oh yeah, and yeah, that takes some time before that one starts popping up. But I think that what is kind of what the most important thing to look at is, does dollar go in a specific direction that kind of tell you. And of course, if you look at a 10-year T-note and 2-year T-note, but going over, if you have I share my screen even? Yeah, I'll share my screen. So if you have for the June meeting, 66% it's currently going to have, is thinking that it's going to be no change. And we also have to, give a context to what this next meeting is. It's the June meeting. June meeting is non-existing meeting. I don't know, it's just there to confirm everything is whatever it was before. Because the market is ending now. By 15th of June, we are dead by June. July is dead as a fish. So there's no trends. There is no the lack of volatility before we come back in August. So if Fed is going to have people in the market, moving the market, they can't do major changes now. They will do that in August when people are back from whatever their holidays are called. So yeah, just keeping things normal, keeping things non-changeable is kind of what I would expect the market to do.
Fair enough. Yeah. And an interesting reaction to this in terms of price here this morning. You've got the dollar. It jumped initially off of the news, but then immediately we could see this candle just evaporated in thin air. I mentioned earlier that it was a tough day for some of the news traders out there, people who buy stop and sell stop. This was probably a disastrous candle as it jumped, but only just long enough to reverse immediately after. So the dollar, though, I'm generally in the camp of trying to trade this thing towards a direction of a pause. We've been talking about that with the dollar. The dollar strength here, in my personal opinion, looks like it's kind of lost some of its steam here. It came back to a level of support that we had been watching, for several days on the streams and the show. 104 did in fact break to the downside, and I don't know. To me, price looks like it's now kind of flipping bearish for the foreseeable future. Of course, it's a bit early to tell. We do have more support levels that can be watched. But for me, as kind of a dollar bear at this time, rallies on the dollar look like selling opportunities. And I want to go back and double check that. I had a long discussion with myself and the audience, of course, about gold. And gold here on the 4-hour chart did, in fact, it hit up against this level of resistance, but has not made any significant breaks above it here today. If the dollar gets weak or stays weak here, weakening from here, I'm watching for a breakout on this 1984 mark, and then possible retests, I think, could be an interesting play. But again, it's going to very much depend on how economic data rolls out from here and whether or not that narrative of a pause from the Federal Reserve stays in play. So I don't know, Ivan, what are you watching? Feel free to share any charts you're interested in: oil, gold, currency pairs, whatever you're looking at.
Trevin, help me out here. In the morning, a bit late morning, but we had a VIP webinar this morning. I said we should come back up to resistance and that as a selling opportunity. It didn't quite go there, but I feel pretty confident that, well, at least we tried. So yes, I see for the next week now that we're gonna have dollar bearishness as an end of the year taking profit on dollar bullish, and then the next week we're gonna do opposite. The only problem this year is that we have been a bit late. We started 1st of June. Last year or the year before that, we started like 27th or 28th. 25th, sorry, of May, so we're a bit late on the bearishness, but the bearishness is kind of what I hoped for to see. And then if it makes a new low below 103.30, 40, then I'm going to catch the pullback, because this market, generally speaking, tends to be very aggressive to either direction, goes to target, and then falls back down again. So what am I looking at? Euro dollar bullish, Australian dollar bullish, pound dollar bullish, and New Zealand dollar bullish.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I was going to ask you if you had any thoughts on the euro, because that was another chart I was looking at myself. So look at this candle today. This broke above, retested, and intraday reversed.
Exactly.
Are you in euro today?
No, I was eating food.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But also, it's NFP,
that was
like.
Yeah, I was going to say too that obviously if you had a pending limit order, you might have gotten filled on this candle. But oh my goodness, look at how perfectly. I haven't touched this zone, by the way, guys. The one that we drew, look at this. It just absolutely barely came underneath the low of that zone, just completely ate that whole zone up and then just shot back up. That is a beautiful test of support, and I think probably a testament to support right now, Ivan. I mean, we've been in this really strong downward trend, and finally the euro is getting a bit of a break here. Beautiful candles to the upside. Resistance seems to be holding as support. I mean, I think you may have some room here to the upside on that euro, especially with today's disappointing kind of dollar performance. There may be some kind of sell off on the close for the dollar. It'd be interesting to watch that going forward.
Yeah, I'm like happy that it makes a higher high and it stays up there. And well, of course, NFP can still kick you in the leg later. But at least with the news with the news we were given, it's at least not all dollar bullish. And yes, a fall like this is considered to me to be a buying opportunity. The same thing for pound, even though pound is high as a kite, but you know, can continue going higher. Though you mentioned gold, and to me, I find this high to be a difficult one because of the, well, like fun, we are supposed to be bullish in this small little period here, but we haven't closed above 1980 yet. So that's kind of the kicker for me. So short term, yeah, sure, 1950, 1960, 1970 have been great buys short term wise, but more longer term, if you can break 1980, I think we have much more potential upside.
Yep. That's kind of where I'm at with gold too. Gold actually just popped up on the EDGEFINDER. I'm just getting the latest in terms of watch list here. Gold just popped up on the EDGEFINDER again. Flipping bullish here a little bit. In regards to the score, it's only a 3, so it's not quite getting all the confirmations that, you know, I like to see. In terms of other things to be watching here today, you have lots of different sells right now. You've got things like Aussie Swiss. We talked a lot about the Aussie pairs yesterday, which I thought was kind of interesting. Aussie CAD is on there. The dollar's still getting kind of a bullish reading, but I've mentioned that fundamentally I don't necessarily like that idea. And so I'm kind of avoiding those currency pairs. Dollar yen, yen I'm still pretty bearish on. So if I was to have to trade dollar long, it'd probably be against the Japanese yen. But again, I just think that there are more opportunities out there. You got CAD yen, Aussie yen, could be ones to look at here. And then I also wanted to go back to this smart money tracker just for a second and clarify something here, guys. So I mentioned earlier that, you know, big money, couple things to pay attention to. And Ivan and we both looked at these two things consecutively. Ivan says he's got a close eye on the euro. I mentioned I've got a close eye on gold. It's one of those things. Oh, Ivan, you got a sound alarm going off or something?
Yeah, I think I need to catch a fire alarm before the whole house burns down. Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries. So anyways, I wanted to go over this, guys. We were talking about gold. We're talking about the euro, and both of these things have an institutional long interest right now. But you might be saying, well, Nick, gold just went down on NFP. So you're telling me big money is wrong? Big money's losing money on this gold move to the downside? Well, the answer is you guys have to remember that institutional money is not trading the 5-minute and 15-minute chart. Big money has a large amount of money to move in and out of the markets. And so if they're going to move money in and out of the markets, it has to be, a little bit higher time frame, as they have big positions to fill. They may still be long. They've been long for a while, and they may be anticipating a possible breakout. That's exactly what I'm looking for too. In terms of trades right now that I'm actively looking for, straight up, I'm looking for a breakout retest on gold. I'll probably look to get long. The other one that I'm looking at is the NASDAQ. I've had an interest in this one. I've been trading this one long, but I've got to wait for a pullback here. So I'm not quite getting that there. I think we haven't cleared at this level hard enough for me to look to get in here. I would like a pullback, if possible, to possibly, 14,250 as a maybe an attempt to entry. But again, that's a ways away. So even though I like it long, I can't really touch it up in these areas. So I'm just going to put that one on the sideburn. So for me right now, gold is number one, if in fact we can break through the levels of resistance that we've just mentioned here. So gold and euro, both heavy on the long positioning. And I wanted to keep an update for you guys here on retail positioning. You guys love to see it. So let's pull up the major currency pairs. For anybody watching currency pairs, have a look at this with me. Here's the current positioning. What we see is that the pound USD, retail traders are very heavily short pound USD. As of the latest data that we have on the EDGEFINDER, it's about 50-50 on the euro, so we don't get too much of a signal there. But I find this pound at USD to be very interesting, right? So we have people basically going short the pound, long the dollar. Now, when I say people, we're talking about retail traders. These traders on average tend to unfortunately lose money. And so, if they're very short on something, it can be an interesting one. Ivan was just pointing out, and I'll let you go through that one for a second, Ivan. What were you saying about pound USD just before you had to step away?
Before the whole house burned down, you mean?
Yeah. You still got a house now, right?
Yeah, it was a fire alarm. No evacuation yet. But so what I want to say is, well, I don't like this very aggressive higher prices on pound, but if it can come down to some kind of support that is too high, so either locally, a deeper pullback would be great, or a local high and a higher low, lower lot size, lower risk, but like scalping it more anything else. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. But we have these I will call it mega resistance up at 120, 125, 80, 126. That is generally a pattern that I do that is generally very successful. So it's very close to our level of selling. So I wanted to come down before we go higher again.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think the pound has been very, very strong recently. So it's been interesting kind of to watch that unfold, especially in relation to Fed outlook, just based on whether or not expectations are for a rate hike or for a pause. The pound has been a very interesting one to watch because it moves very distinctly with that ebb and flow, especially when you have the Bank of England so hawkish, right? There's kind of that persistence there relative to a wavering back and forth Fed. What were you going to say, Ivan?
Inflation is very high in pound in UK. Therefore, also, the strength comes in particularly for pound. Though I don't talk, I just mime. So some fun on a Friday. Why not?
You just pretend to talk. I got you.
Yeah, I do.
Let me show you something too, Ivan. You mentioned the inflation, which is an excellent point here. So in terms of inflation too, so inflation is kind of a worldwide problem for major central banks. I've got it pulled up here. You can see that inflation has been headed in the right direction for the United States. It has as well for the UK. But the point here that Ivan is making is that inflation is really high and much higher even than other places. I mean, we only recently dipped back below 10% in the UK, getting us in the right direction, but still very, very far off from that 2% mandate. And you can see this divergence here in the red and blue line. The red is the UK's inflation. The blue is, of course, the US inflation. You can see a clear divergence there where one is just leading the cool off compared to the other, which is kind of lagging behind. And we see this directly playing out in terms of Bank of England forecasts, Federal Reserve forecast for rates, right? The Bank of England still is likely to need to do more tightening in order to get that inflation under control. Tightening, as we know, generally causes appreciation for the currency. And that's why we're kind of seeing that story play out as the Fed is expected to kind of pause. That story coming out has really pushed the pound higher. So that's been an interesting one here so far. Guys, we're about to bring in Kenzo, but before we do, I want you guys to check out this skit that we put together. And Ivan, have you seen the skit that Frank and I did?
No.
Oh,
this is the first
boy.
time.
Check it out, guys. This is a great work of art put on by our producers. Check this out.
Man, getting a nice tan out here. How you doing?
Dude, I'm getting cooked by the sun and by this euro yen trade I'm stuck in. I took a sell trade.
Dude, you need the edge finder.
The edge finder?
Yeah, if you had the edge finder, you would have known that smart money was actually long.
Really? So you're telling me I was selling when smart money was long, and if I had the edge finder, I would have known that?
Exactly.
Pass me one of those edge finders. Let me get one of those. Get our biggest discount of the summer. Get access to the Edge Finder, our MT4 and MT5 softwares, indicators, and robots, all in a single 20% off discount offer. Take advantage using the links and promo codes down below in the description.
I mean, come on. They did such a good job with that. Hey, Kenzo, how are you?
Oh, sorry. Great, thanks, and you. I hope you're doing great.
Good. And I saw you guys both like that the commercial that we put together. So
No, it's very good. It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah. So pardon the plug, guys, but we are doing, like I said, a summer sale for the Edge Finder right now. You saw it in that commercial. We're doing a first come, first serve, save a massive amount of money. If you've had any interest in buying the Edge Finder, this is the best opportunity you're going to get. Message in right now. We got a talk to link that's going to get dropped in the chat right now. If you click this link, message us right now. Let them know how much you love that commercial, and they'll get you the biggest discount of the summer right here. Click that link and let them know you want the Edge Finder. Again, big shout out to the editors for putting together such an awesome commercial break. Okay, so we had NFP. Kenzo, thank you for being on with us, of course. I want to get your take. What are you watching? And what was your take on the jobs numbers that came out today?
The jobs actually pushed a bit higher, but also the unemployment also pushed higher. So it's like 50-50. So actually it's mixed. So that's why we don't actually see enough push in the market. So I'm expecting a very nice reversal. I don't think that will be strong enough maybe to see a stronger sell, especially when I check NASDAQ and USDTs. We saw that I don't see any panic. So that's actually good for anything that has to do like against the dollar. But for the dollar, it's not really that bad because the jobs, non-farm payrolls went up, but unemployment unfortunately still going a little bit higher. So I'm actually expecting a reversal, and I'm actually willing to buy.
Okay. So when you say buy, are you talking which chart specifically?
On NASDAQ, I'll start on NASDAQ. I see that the market was playing around our resistance area. So from that area, I'm expecting a very nice push, especially when the market opens. So once the market opens, I'm expecting another bullish momentum. I might be wrong, by the way, but I'm expecting another push. So on USD, it was trying to break the areas that we have. Actually, NFP isn't that stronger. So I'm expecting also a breakout, then we can push the upside. Another one, which is gold. Gold, know how gold actually reacts. So mostly it will go crazy. But I think this time the market is not actually that bearish momentum, doesn't really have that momentum. So I think on the bottom side, we might also have something like this that can again the market to push the upside. So yeah, I think we might see a reversal from this area to the upside.
Yep. Also, Ivan is on his way out, so let's quickly say goodbye to Ivan before his house burns down. He had his fire alarm go off. Oh, there's just nice kicks, Ivan. I like the kicks. Also,
It's my cast.
before Ivan, you leave, I want to make sure. Oh, that's your cast. It was blurry because of the stream.
Yeah, I know. It's a blur. But yeah, so I need to go
Ivan,
and get my purchase before I go.
Yeah, no worries. I want to just thank you for coming on. And also, guys, before Ivan heads out, make sure to go subscribe to his channel. He's got some great content. And you can also catch him in the Discord. He is one of our coaches and head analysts here at A1 Trading. So again, keep up with Ivan within the group. And also reach out to him if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring. He does those sessions, which are a great investment if you are looking to learn, if you're looking to improve and you need someone to talk to. Ivan is your guy. Find him inside of the A1 Trading Discord. And Ivan, see you next time. Have a great weekend, man.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Kenzo, it's just us now. And thank you for going through some of those charts. I was going to ask you about the Dow, which of the three indices is the laggard, right? It's the one that's kind of falling behind. You've got NASDAQ, which is just killing it recently. You've got the S&P, which is doing so-so. And of course, you've got the Dow, which yes, has seen a bit of a rally, but it's been in kind of a tough downward structure here. So are you looking to buy this thing on a breakout? Are you looking to short this thing? What's your take on the Dow specifically?
The Dow currently is a bit confusing, but if I go on a bigger time frame, let's go maybe on a bigger time frame. I think everything's on a bigger time frame is quite clear, or let me just say daily. On a daily time frame, we can easily we have a very nice resistant area here. So let me just draw a proper line there. So I think the market on Dow actually is still under pressure. I think we see that the market is actually pushing to the lower side. So where we are now, we can easily see that yes, the market is still continuing with this type of a sell going lower and lower. And at the same time, the dollar is getting stronger, so it's not really surprising. And those companies in USDT, they're not actually doing that great. So if we go on a 4 hours time frame, we see that yes, the market is still pushing actually lower, but also we're expecting maybe NFP to be like seriously great, but it's not. So which means now that weight that we see on USDT, it might stop because we can see S&P 500 and NASDAQ, they're trying to do better, and actually they can pull USDT with it. I think we might see a bounce, but that's why I'm expecting to see a breakout here. Then if we see a breakout, I think if you missed on NASDAQ, I think we can catch up with USDT. I think we're gonna see quite similar moves on what we saw on NASDAQ. I think we might still see that on USDT.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kenzo, too, because what we're kind of seeing right now, if you're watching indices out there, guys, the US 30, which is the Dow Jones, is comprised mostly of your incredibly stable, big value stocks, right? And so value has been lagging pretty heavily tech, right? Which has been, of course, you guys, we've all heard about the AI, improvements to how that can change the business world and the efficiencies there. And, there are benefactors there like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all of which can benefit massively from AI. So we're seeing the NASDAQ really go strong, but then we're seeing some lagging in the Dow. However, to Kenzo's point, if we get any downward pressure on the dollar, for example, something like the Dow could be set to play a little bit of catch up, right? As Kenzo mentioned. So if you do get kind of breakouts to the upside, if we see some strength come in for US 30, it may be an interesting play, especially if you're looking at some of the NASDAQ and the S&P and saying, hey, that looks like it's made its run, but the Dow has not seen such an appreciation. There may be some room to run there. I want to go back just a moment here to the jobs numbers that we saw. So Kenzo, you made a good point. Conflicting data, right? We had, of course, a tick up in employment change, but also a move up higher as well in the unemployment percentage rate, coming out at 3.7%, higher than the forecasted 3.5%. So we had two. Not only did we have two conflicting news, we had pretty substantial. Both numbers were very off from forecasts, one in a more positive way, one in a more negative way. I want to ask your thoughts on the dollar here today. What are you looking at DXY, dollar-wise? Do you think, the dollar is has made its move here and it's going to start rolling over, or do you think this is just a pullback before a bigger push higher? What do you think?
No, I think for the dollar now, I think it's going to lose a bit of the strength. Especially, we also had debt ceiling, so which actually they did not default. So it means they're going to create more credit or print money if it's possible. So that automatically you can see any pair that actually goes with a dollar, it was gaining some momentum because they're going to increase on their credit. So fortunately, you can see GBP was also gaining since they had about debt ceiling default. If I go to the other ones, you will also see that they all trying to follow. Euro was very strong also. After the news, actually this bearish move that we see, this candlestick, is because of NFP. But I still believe that we're still going to see another recovery against the dollar. And I think that can last longer, bit longer, as they're going to actually make sure that the economy has enough cash actually. On the news side, like on NFP, it's a bit mixed, so it's not actually good. And once they actually cancel each other, so it means we're not going to focus much on NFP for now because we saw that it's mixed news. So we're just going to go back on what we know, which is going to be technical. So it means we're going to just follow what we see because NFP did not actually react that bad. I can't say it's bad or it's good, but 50-50. So I'm expecting anything to reverse against the dollar. I think the market will be reversing very soon.
That's a good point there on the dollar because I think sorry, Kenzo, I think there might be just a bit of delay. I'll just give my thoughts and then move on from it. So, but I was just going to say the dollar point that you made with NFP today, people might be a bit confused that NFP today was conflicted, right? So we saw positive and negative news at the same time. Jobs created increased, unemployment also increased as a percentage rate overall. So you mentioned a really good point there. Now we just kind of have to go back to what we know, which is, now we've seen that the June meetings overall are still expected to see rates pause. And, some of this dollar optimism, this dollar strength seems to be, in my opinion, losing some of its steam. We've broken out to the downside. I think, yes, you may see a bit of a recovery move, but overall, I think the trajectory has maybe flipped here on the dollar for the short term. We'll see if I'm right about that. Again, I've mentioned that for me, one thing that I'm watching is, of course, the gold market, watching for breakouts higher. If the dollar weakness does persist, breaks and retests around this 1980 will be one of my primary trades that I'm interested in myself there. So, Kenzo, I do want to thank you for coming on. We're going to have to cut the show just a bit short. I want to also make sure that before you head out, guys, if you do not already follow Kenzo's YouTube channel, he is a prominent figure on the A1 Trading Show. He comes on once a week. He's always got great technical and fundamental analysis for us, which is, of course, why we have him on all the time. If you guys would like to keep up with Kenzo and get more content from him, we're dropping a link right now in the chat. Here is his YouTube channel. Go give it a follow. Extra Hot Forex on YouTube, and make sure to subscribe. Kenzo, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you very much, man.
All right. See you next time. Yeah, always a pleasure to have Kenzo. Kenzo is, I got to say, he's one of my favorite recurring guests. He's always got such good commentary on what is going on fundamentally. And his accent is so cool to me as an American. It's very cool. Anyways, I wanted to wrap up thoughts here. Again, I am watching, for those of you guys who are maybe joining the stream here now, I am watching gold on breaks and retests around the 1980 mark. I'm looking for possible breaks higher there. I do not have any other trades open in terms of short-term positions. NASDAQ, I'm looking for another chance to get long, but I can't do it up here. I've got to see pullbacks. I'm not looking to chase this market. We've had a great run. I think we need to see a pullback. If that does occur, I'll be looking to get long. Again, right now, the overall top watch list item for me is still gold. If we do get some strength to form, whether that be today or going into next week, I'll be watching them either ways, as I think today's NFP numbers were kind of so-so. However, that again is a big one to watch going into next week to see if momentum forms on that gold market, as now we've got NFP concerns out of the way. Guys, we have our software sale going on right now. We're doing 20% off of our prices, but we also cut prices dramatically. You can also get access to our MT4 robots, indicators, and scanners free with your purchase of an EDGEFINDER right now. Check this out. I'm gonna show you the screenshot. Check this out. So this is our summer software sale. This is our biggest sale of the summer. You get access to the EDGEFINDER Pro, which is all the software data that I'm showing you, COT report data, retail sentiment data, seasonal trends data, all sorts of good stuff there. So check that out down below in the description, as well as in the chat right now. We're dropping a link, this link right here. Click that link and direct message us. This is a limited space sale. We are signing up people with the software and getting them trained and everything. If you have not already gotten in on the sale, again, it is a first come, first serve basis. So message in right now if you want access to the sale before the sale ends. And again, get the best price of the summer. If you've been thinking about the EDGEFINDER, now is your chance to get it. So yeah, there you go. And guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the stream. As we roll out, here's a couple cool features of the EDGEFINDER. If you're thinking about it, if you're not sure, you want to hear more about it, we're going to roll this outro where you can get a closer look at the EDGEFINDER. And again, remember, just message us in on the website if you'd like to qualify and be one of the first come, first serve sale participants who get that $850 plus savings. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
As an aspiring trader, how do you take into account all of the driving forces in the markets at once? You need the EDGEFINDER. The EDGEFINDER allows traders to access powerful market data automatically. Access key sentiment analysis studies, such as the Smart Money Tracker, which shows what hedge funds and institutions are buying and selling. Or unlock the Retail Sentiment Indicator, which shows where retail traders are positioned now. Additionally, for traders looking to incorporate fundamental analysis into their trading, get access to our in-depth economic data scanners to find the strongest trends. The EDGEFINDER also ranks and scores all of your favorite currency pairs, commodities, and indices through our signals and watch list page. This page will show you the EDGEFINDER's current strongest buys and strongest sells by pulling together all of the data. Get our biggest discount of the summer. Get access to the EDGEFINDER, our MT4 and MT5 softwares, indicators, and robots, all in a single 20% off discount offer. Take advantage using the links and promo codes down below in the description.